meaning that you have to win with each of your deck. But we're doing last hero standing.
Which means if you win,
comic,
you can replay
comic
this.
Style.
That's very cool.
Actually, I saw that graphic
Cling,
and I was
cling.
like, that is very comic book style.
Did you see those banners in the players' areas?
Oh, that's sweet.
That's actually really cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I just saw it right now.
I'm actually gonna try to see if I can get something like that done for.
It reminds me of what's that game? That tabletop game, Sentinels of the Multiverse.
Yeah.
It's the exact same aesthetic.
I wanted two for my place.
Gotcha. Well, we have last hero standing means it's king of the hill. Whatever class you win with, you have to stick on, and the loser has to answer it. So hypothetically, if this druid wins the one game, it can win 3 games. If we win 4 games, and ultimately a sweep. It's a best of 5, and they do get 1 ban by bringing 4 decks. Therefore, the other 3 decks are available.
Yeah, and when the people advance to the top 8, they can use a 5th deck.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. So they say, but I've never gotten anywhere near that. So we're gonna start with Druid versus Hunter, but it's not just a regular Druid. It is the aggressive Druid, which has gotten very popular recently. Particularly because one, it's very hard to anticipate this type of Druid all the time. It can surprise people with fast damage and Fel Reavers with Savage Roar, and the second part of it is. It actually does do decently well against the metagame with paladins.
Right. What's interesting too is that sometimes they just ignore, like they don't really trade nearly as much as typical mid-range would, and just because they've got the insurance of the combo, then they don't mind doing so. It's a really weird deck. I'm surprised it took so long to emerge because it seems like it could have worked a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I have to wonder if maybe Druid of the Saber wasn't like the 2-drop that they were waiting for when it came out.
Well, it makes sense. It's a lot of versatility with the charge as well as even putting it in stealth. It's not the fact that it's a 3/2, it's the fact that it's stealth.
It doesn't die. You're
Therefore,
guaranteed to get it.
you can pick your attack accordingly. You can see that I'm actually kind of confused who is who because it says Ek0p's on the left, but is he the one playing Hunter? I would assume so because RDU really loves Hunter, and in fact, RDU is one of those weird guys who says Hunter versus Hunter is his favorite matchup in the entire
I
game.
can tell
Probably
you
the
who is
most,
who because I was where.
Because you're sniping.
Ek0p is
No.
the Druid.
I know who made which ban. So Ek0p banned Druid.
Yep.
And RDU banned.
That's
Hunter.
interesting. Banning Druid is such an thing that people are like not expecting, but I think it's a very powerful strategy considering how it fits in the pocket. Like it can challenge Warrior. And Druid's pretty decent against Freeze Mage, which you anticipate a lot of this tournament because if you have Freeze Mage, you can ban its worst matchup, which is Control Warrior.
Yeah, you would ban Warrior and you'd probably get away with beating just about everything else.
So there's a lot of strategies with how you actually choose to ban and how you orient your lineup around it. So, maybe RDU is not even anticipating a Druid ban. He's like, well, I was expecting Warrior or Paladin to be banned. And now RDU is like in an awkward position where the Shade is going to have to take a hit here. He wants to develop like the Pilot Shredder, which is like if he doesn't develop it this turn, he's certainly not developing the following turn. But in the end, he needs to take care of the Shade now.
Yeah, and I feel like it's still not too bad because he's curving into high main next turn, followed by Pilot Shredder if he wants it. The thing is, Druids also got their own tools. With Freezing Trap not being there, a Fel Reaver is something you have to answer right now. Like you could try to race, but with the Fel Reaver, if something gets taunted up, then you have to go through the taunt, and the Fel Reaver can just hit you repeatedly. So I feel like the Fel Reaver being an addition to aggro decks, it's not even just good in Druid. It's just especially good there because of Innervate.
It's so scary to play Fel Reaver against Hunter sometimes because of Freezing Trap and the isolation. But you do have some chargers. So the one thing is like Fel Reaver usually gets isolated, but in other decks like Mech Mage, but in Druid specifically, it feels like there's a lot of utility behind it. If you're not dropping it now, then when do you drop it? So, Lothar, why do you think Druid the Claw here is better versus Fel Reaver?
Did you talk about Hunter's Mark in example? Because for now, no one has
that's a good point. Yeah.
any information about any kind of decks.
Well, he saw Argent Horse Rider, but that still doesn't mean any. Like,
Yeah, it can be played in mid-range still. It has been played. I mean, in this case, it is played in mid-range.
Like, there's a possibility of 2 cards happening in the same slot as Hunter's Mark. The second one might be an Owl. The Owl is not a big problem against Fel Reaver, right? Because he doesn't care. So I guess he was worried about Hunter's Mark, but I think that's the only reason why you're worried about
it. Yeah,
the
it makes
situation.
sense.
It does make sense, yeah.
Well, are you thinking about, Ek0p, thinking about like what's the best way you can set up Dr. Boom next turn? And Fel Reaver will draw a lot of damage. Even if High Main chooses not to trade, you still have opportunities to play Fel Reaver, hit the face, load up with Dr. Boom, and then threaten just a Savage Roar.
Yeah, but the problem is here that even with the Savage Roar next turn 8, sorry, you might be just too slow.
Right, but in this case, I mean, there's also the option for RDU if he wants to use the high main. Like if Fel Reaver falls down, to use the high main and the Horse Rider to kill the Fel Reaver. I mean, that will mill the opponent through the Powder Shredder and the Horse Rider just a little bit. Doesn't matter technically, but if you can, you've already seen one swipe, so the odds of your board getting cleaned up are pretty slim.
I mean, here the situation is like this. Ek0p, I cannot really understand whether he's playing now load up when he was thinking about Ferrariver, because Ferrariver is way better. This way he practically says, I'll be trading next turn with my load up.
Yeah,
That's
I'll
his
probably
plan.
use it as a trading tool.
Keeper,
Exactly.
I will keeper your Savannah Jaime and trade or play Azure Drake and swipe, but
With an innervate play, let's
but
say, right?
that's an aggressive druid, so there's no Azure Drake, right? Because there are no card draws. So for RDU, there was a clear signal: I will do this. I will trade next turn. Because Lothar would be even better than Druid of the Claw last turn.
Instead of playing the Druid of the
Yes.
Claw, you would play Lothar on that turn if you weren't trying to trade.
Exactly.
But now RDU, I mean, he's got the I think that might be close enough to lethal.
That's 6
for next
damage,
turn.
8,
11, 13.
The one off,
damage.
I think. Right?
Well, you can just go for it.
Yeah, there's no reason not to, because the best he could do is, use hero power to get up to 2. You'd only die to something crazy like Force of Nature, Innervate, Savage Roar.
The
But
thing about
you are
using
aware there's no Ancient of Lore,
Ancient of Lore, exactly.
So there's no heal apart from hero power.
the thing about using Kill
straight.
Command now, though, is that he doesn't get the Beast activation, and his opponent already used Lotheb, so you know that Kill Command most likely will be able to be activated. The only problem is if you choose a second high main, and he wouldn't be able to sweave into hero power, but that's still a very small fringe scenario.
Yeah, I mean, he would still get lethal off the hero power on its own.
Dude, imagine if he could get 3 juggles off Dr. Boom. That would have been nuts. But instead, he just has to play their Nest Aspirin. Still looking pretty dicey, though, because he has to have 2 perfect juggles, and it still has to isolate like a really good target by doing this.
Well, that's the first one.
Oh,
that's
awkward.
not what he wants to see. It's a little clunky.
He needs to shoot the 2-1 now,
Yeah.
the left one.
Wow!
Oh!
Nice juggles.
Good
That
stuff
was
from Ek0p.
really annoying.
Doesn't mean he lives, but that's as good as...
Oh, look at that.
Wow, missed BM, quick shot. You're supposed to
No
use
draw.
it based off its condition. Or maybe that is the BM.
Maybe that's it. I don't need the draw.
I was thinking about last turn when he traded with the Partition and the
Instead of
Keeper.
attacking phase.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was he worried about a double Savage Roar?
I think he was worried about... I don't think Double Savage Roar
Maybe
killed him.
Drew the Claw
I
Savage
think
Roar?
That didn't
He
kill
was at
him either.
22.
Yeah.
Oh, he was
and
at
there
22. I thought he said
22, and there was 3/2 creature, 2/4
He
creature.
died to Force, Innervate, Savage Roar, but that was it. From what I looked at, maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I saw.
Yeah, so I think he's definitely just concerned about potentially dying.
Yeah.
Played
safe
The
'cause you're
2
gonna-
Savage Roars is definitely possible. With that deck specifically, it's super aggressive, and he was also holding cards for a long time. Like he held on to that Fel Reaver for a long time and other stuff. So he was probably concerned about like what kind of cards he's holding.
You've got a point though, because the Druid of the Saber, that's a 2-drop. You can play with double
Yeah,
Savage
2
Roar
Savage
pretty
Roars.
easily. So yeah, that would have actually been lethal if he'd had those. So.
Well, Lothar's kind of pissed. I mean, RDU just lost.
No, RDU just won.
Oh, RDU
just
won.
shreked
Oh,
it.
you're right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
just-
I did the overlay confused me for a while.
That's my face, man. I'm always look pissed.
Ah,
And I
yeah.
was traveling
You have
from
a resting
California
bitch
today.
face. That's cool, man. That's
Yeah.
cool. We all do.
They lost my
did-
baggage now.
Oh, they
Yeah.
did? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
man. That
They
sucks.
lost
Yeah,
it?
you're not. It's like, oh, you sorry? I'm sorry.
No, dude. I mean, I actually had some travel problems coming here too myself.
Yeah, I heard.
What happened to you?
Dude, I got frauded.
scamazed?
I got IRL scamazed.
Really?
It's crazy.
What happened?
Oh, and I think it was through what happened
Like-
to Eloise, right? Like,
Yeah. So what
side
happened
effect.
was I was traveling and then basically just classic con stuff, and then I got some guy charged me $2,000 3 times from a woman clothing store.
And,
He got the right criteria down how to make it look like me, but I would not be caught dead shopping there. So
It's the blue dye that gave it away.
it is.
Wow.
Thankfully, all that got sorted out though, so I'm okay. Warrior, by the way, this is not looking like a regular control warrior. It looks
Yeah.
like the patron warrior.
Which has to
looks
be
like
good
it.
against like something of an aggressive hunter, but because this is more of a mid-range one, if the curve lines up for the hunter and the high main comes out on time, then he's more than fine. I mean, face hunter is definitely weak to a deck like this, but Not so much this one.
Sure, makes sense. And you got some really good information. The freezing trap ended up bouncing back here. The Cruel Taskmaster, so that's good for Ek0p. Now you can use that Cruel Taskmaster again to pick off some of these smaller minions.
I mean, this is kind of a little pesky minion to deal with, but the Ghoul does it on its own, so there's nothing really to worry about. I kind of like the Horse Rider. It's a card that I was very excited about when I saw it, and I'm happy that it's being played like in Rogue. You know, in Oil Rogue for a while, it's like a lot of play.
Yeah, it's often used just as an alternative to just pressure.
Yeah.
Because Divine Shield is so annoying to deal with that even though you're giving up an attack compared to Wolf Rider, the fact is if you just like play it and not even trade, like you attack face, your opponent just has a problem dealing with it. So it's a very annoying minion. Only trumped by Unstable Ghoul, which is just as annoying, if not even more.
Yeah, it's the card that changed. I remember back when Control Warrior ran that card.
Unstable Ghoul?
Yeah. That was like back when Zoo was their weakness.
It's OG, man.
Yeah, it was so good.
Look at that. No Glaive Zuka value. In fact, based off the sequencing, RDU could have
gotten the buff, right?
Gotten the buff on the Mad Scientist. So a little small misstep that could have happened as a 50-50.
He didn't attack with the Glaive Zuka, so he... Otherwise, he would have to
right,
attack
he
with
did.
the Glaive Zuka.
You're right, he
so
buffed
he
the
saved
Horse
damage.
Rider.
Right.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, you're right. Makes sense.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Well, I mean, it depends on what you want. I mean, you can
Well, he
get
doesn't
extra
have a
damage.
second weapon now, so
Right.
he wants the damage.
Yeah, so it makes sense. It's just like a +1 damage, -1 damage in other areas.
Mm-hmm. But at the same
It
time,
all goes face.
you have additional
It still
trade.
goes face, yeah.
Because
Instead of
in this
wasting
deck-
1 damage, you're gonna need that extra bit of damage off your weapon.
Maybe not exactly as a finisher,
Right.
because this is the mid-range hunter, so
Puppet Belcher.
you can use the 2 damage just to trade with a minion. So this might be important in this case.
All right, well, I mean, the Warrior's still in such a good spot. He hasn't even used Armor Smith yet, and he has Whirlwinds available, so it's like almost whatever the Hunter puts out, the Warrior's going to be able to deal with it pretty easily.
Yeah. I mean, the Leox is not even bad here. Look at that.
That's a good one.
Leox gets a good trade, but then he's trading with the Shredder, which gives him a lot of like leeway still.
Yeah, but RDU needs just 7 high mains, like to ensure that you can win against the Patron Warrior, which is the best deck against aggro in general, is to get the 7 high mains because they are the heavy hitters. Heavy hitters against Warrior, and without that card, I don't think you can even win this matchup because Patron has so many answers to just gain, armor, board control with whirlwinds, whatever can happen with unstable goals. You have so many answers to whatever is happening to the board.
Yeah, but it's like if you're playing just what a face hunter would play, then you're still weak to Patron, right? Like if your plays consist of all the 2 drops and the 1 drops that face hunter would play, then playing mid range doesn't give you an edge. So you really have to hit those mid game minions.
Sure, makes sense.
Yeah, it's just.
What do you think about playing like the cool Taskmaster?
Oh, look at that! I just was.
That's pretty convenient and on time.
No,
RDU
execute.
smiling. He's like, yeah, I totally outscaled you.
Oh, that's the RDU face if I ever had one where it's like, I totally earned that draw.
Oh, God.
I skillfully whipped that high main off the top of my deck.
He's like, I practiced a lot.
Dude, I mean, RDU is one of the hard, like, he's try hard to you. That's his nickname on ladder. The guy is like, even if it's point, like, okay, so one time I was laddering with RDU and he was coaching me and helping me, and he was like telling me not to concede even though like my opponent has full lethal on board and like there's no way I can win, because he says there's always a chance that person recognizes who you are and gives you a free win.
Oh my God.
And that's that's so RDU. Like the fact that he'll even hold out at this 0.01% chance that not only will the guy recognize RDU, but like him enough to concede. He's like, don't do it, Frodan. I was like, all right.
He's like, you have more chances than me. You should know that.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, that's kind of how it is. But that high main was really big.
Try hard to you.
Try hard.
Try hard to do in my country in Romania. Oh my God, I love.
I had
RDU.
my first girlfriend was Romanian. This is true. This accent is true.
Gotcha. All right, because I forgot that Noxious is married. You actually went the full distance.
I don't even know what happened.
You are more of a man
married
than
then...
all 32 players here. Actually, Lothar is married.
I'm
too.
married. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
actually,
Nick
Nick just got engaged, so we have a lot of people who are.
Engaged is not yet married.
Is it not?
It's a next step though.
Yeah.
It's like.
It's like it goes like this.
Like marriage is patron warrior pre-nerf.
Yeah.
And right now like and then engaged is kind of like freeze mage status.
Oh my god.
You have it if you're just like single, like you're Reynad, you're still like dipping around and hunter and
dipping around. I see.
Yeah. Well, I mean that Jaime changed everything. Like you were talking about, it's so powerful. He doesn't have execute to deal with it. Instead, he has to rely on just fighting back with minions.
Yeah, but he has Grim Patron now.
But is it too late? I mean, there's just, what trap is it, by the way? We know that freezing
No
trap
idea.
is
No
is
idea
one
what
of them.
trap it is because there's so many possibilities.
It could be
Yeah.
freezing, is my guess. I mean, then again, it could be like there's a lot of mixes nowadays that happen.
Yeah, freezing has been a lot of times mixed with snake traps these days because it's really good split with how you interact with your board. But then you also can see double freezing quite often as well. Those are both problematic.
And
that is
Not the
a
card you
problem
wanna
for
see.
sure. He needs to armor up and hope that 2 damage isn't drawn off the top.
And now it's a
a
boar with one attack. that
Oh,
gets
oh
+2.
wow.
Correct. I mean, so okay, even if that flame tongue wasn't there,
Yeah, it
he
was
still would have had enough, right?
Yeah.
Would he? No.
Oh yeah, he would have. 4 plus the hero.
Yeah, plus the
Oh,
hero
yeah,
card,
right.
yeah. So it would have, and the fact is now he has 4 overkill because of that flame tongue. Fun stuff, but that means the hunter is 2-0, just like old times. Just like old times. We're back.
Yeah.
Hearthstone Esports is back. We
I
want
wonder
Hunter to
though,
sweep every series.
It's funny because a lot of pros really like Last Hero Standing a lot more.
yeah,
than
or so
Conquest.
they say.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, this will change after this turn.
Yeah.
I feel like rose-colored glasses, right? Because I remember the days when people complained about just pure sweeps, but I wonder if it was more of the the viewer experience sometimes. Like you want to see new stuff.
it was because back then in Last Hero Standing, there was like everyone. There was a consensus that one deck was just wildly overpowered.
Yeah,
Whether it was
I remember.
Undertaker Hunter or Miracle Rogues or
Handlock sometimes.
like the Zoo Warlock was really good. And back then, also in Last Hero Standing, aggro wasn't very common outside of just 2 decks. It was actually Zoo and Hunter.
yeah.
How did you play aggro back then? Like you had to play like Backspace Rogue.
Oh my
And
god.
you had to play like
That was like a typical rogue aggro deck.
Yeah.
Which nowadays it doesn't even exist like
Yeah.
anymore.
I mean,
really.
we can see a recurrence of that theme, of that theme of aggro temple rogue. With
Yeah,
the
for sure.
With the new, what's his name of the raptor?
Unearthed Raptor.
the Unearthed
I want to say
Raptor.
fossil Pokemon, but yeah.
Fossil Pokemon. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, there's many more aggro options these days, which is pretty cool to see variety of it. However, now because the Conquest format has introduced, like it almost became somewhat irrelevant. It became more about if you want to target versus
Right.
what you bring.
Yeah, it's funny because Secret Paladin is so good on ladder, but then you bring it to a tournament system, like to a tournament in Conquest, and it just doesn't target anything. So you don't want to play it.
Makes sense. All right, well, 2-0 lead for RDU. And remember, this is group stage, so for all those Ek0p fan out there, if he
For those
loses
2 people.
this... If he loses
All the
this,
two- all the two-
I meant
all the 2
exactly
fans
what I
speak
said.
up.
I meant exactly what I said.
Okay, sure.
Even if he loses this, he still has a chance to go through.
Yeah, he has to win against who?
Well, Ek0p is in a group with Eloise and Vortex.
And RDU.
And RDU.
And RDU. So, actually, Eloise versus Vortex is coming up on stream after this. They started Group B first, which is interesting. I thought they were starting Group A with Firebat and Purple. That would have been a really cool group to see. That said, by the way, we have all 4 groups from the first half going to be happening today. There's also a B stream happening. You can go to TaKeTV.net and find out all the streams. I actually don't know the B stream link off the top of my head. I'm
But
trying
is
to
it
find
also be
What
quality?
happens on the B stream?
The B stream, I believe it would be groups like Orange, Stansifka, Toyota, and Surrender. And then I'm guessing Group A is going to be happening simultaneously. I'll have to double check with the admins. So that's Firebat, Purple, Cypher, and Martin Creek. A little unlucky because I want to see Firebat versus Purple in the mainstream. That would have been really sick. I'm looking at the groups, guys. You should comment. You should commentate the match.
Yeah,
It's
but
hard to
sorry,
go.
I was
I'm
gonna
jet-lagged.
I was gonna go there.
Jet lag.
Yeah, I'm more jet lagged than
Well, we
Only a C-Story Cubs that a legitimate argument.
Excuse. Because you come in and you just go to work.
Yeah.
Well, work.
I arrived 6 a.m. today in Frankfurt. I had to take a train today to Düsseldorf to take.
From Poland to Germany?
Poland
Are you
to Germany?
seriously arguing a
Dude.
1 hour time jet lag difference?
Dude, I'm going
Oh, you're
from-
coming. Oh yeah, you're
He
coming
was
from
at BlizzCon.
BlizzCon.
USA.
All right.
He was there with you, Frodan.
You're right.
Frodan's like, I don't remember that.
What the hell is happening?
That Polish guy casting with me. He's going to clean up the Doomsayer. I mean, I guess ultimately you have to put on aggression against the mage. And even if that means you waste quote-unquote 7 damage, if that forces him to use more removal to deal with your board, it's probably worth it. I just feel like it's a very difficult matchup to win. And with the Explosive Sheep on top, it's even tougher.
Well, you know, he has cards like Lotheb, which can really help a lot. And Savannah Jaime is still such a big problem to the point where I know some freeze mages were just like, you know, they're just like ice dancing high mains over and over because that's the only way they can stall for time. And even if they die, like through Doomsayer or Fireball, the hyenas come out and it's only 2 power less. So Ek0p instead choosing to use freeze on the Leok, and that you might think that's kind of an overreaction, but he knows there's Argent Horse Riders, there's Arcane Golems, and Leok buffing those damage would be a big problem too.
Yep. I don't like using the load up here, to be honest.
The Shredder
I would
looks-
prefer the Shredder, just to look the turn when there might be a Flame Strike or a second Ice Block or whatever happening, just to prevent the game from turning around, you know?
Yeah, there are some key turns you want to make sure you don't play Lotheb. Like, you don't want to play it on 6. You don't want to play it on 9, because then it's Emperor Thorson or
yeah,
Alex Strauss anyways.
Yeah.
Turn 5 is, like, iffy. If you have a big board, you can prevent Frost Nova Doomsayer, which is really big.
But you know your opponent will be pinking
The Leok.
The Leok, so he will have only 3 mana.
That's true. I mean, with that Thanos Straw, that gives him something to do, too. Like, Explosive Sheep just on the board wouldn't be very good.
Yeah.
But-
For curving, I mean, to curve, the Lotheb is better because you do get to play the Shredder afterwards with Hero Power or Glaive Zuka.
By the way, who did the overlay? Bob Ross?
Bob Ross did the overlay. I know it was commissioned.
That'd be
by
great.
Twitch.
Watching Bob Ross paint Hearthstone stuff and talk about being happy.
We're gonna
like
put a happy little
displays.
tree in the
Like
no,
happy
enough
little
trees,
displays, and it's
exactly.
like, no, man, that's not happy at all.
the 3 little melons.
Oh, look at that. No pink for the Leok.
Yeah, so we opted to play Healbot instead because it's more mana efficient. However, it does have less impact. Not only is it only healing 7, but you also leave up Leok.
Yeah.
And you know that you're taking additional 3 from that. So the effect of Healbot is usually higher. And not to mention that he does have Ice Barrier though, so maybe he feels more comfortable like taking some damage now and then letting Ice Barrier be played later after he starts chaining things like freezes and whatnot.
Yeah, one of the things as well with the Healbot is that it's a lot more expensive than Ice
Yeah,
Barrier.
that's true.
So that's also something you have to keep in mind.
It's
when
also
you're
a
playing.
3 health minion that
Yeah.
can absorb some stuff.
I mean, if the Leok here hadn't been buffed by Glaive Zuka, it was really clunky for RDU to deal with it because he would have had to trade a Leok
Yeah.
and a Glaive Zuka hit, or use the Lotheb, which then died to Blizzard. So I
wonder-
like the play overall.
I wonder if RDU feels like threatened enough to Blizzard, or he can even play Emperor Thorson.
If he healed
But-
up last turn, maybe his plan
Yeah.
was to get the Emperor out.
But the problem is that he go down to 9 health, and then Ice Barrier probably doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So, and he definitely is reconsidering, like, can he drop down Emperor Thorson? You know, what does it even open up by playing it? Do you have an opportunity to squeeze in better tempo plays, or will you survive? All those things aren't very likely because Hunter has been able to put pressure, but he knows that Hunter's down to 1 card. So if he can survive this pressure, then he'll be stuck top decking.
Yeah, like no high main, please. And even then, he does have 2 freezes on the back end. So even if there's a high main that shows up, he can still at least stall for a little bit.
But he knows there's a high main because there was no high main until 6, right?
Right. It would have been
Right.
short over the Shredder. Although he did have to kill the
The Doomsayer?
the 3/3 heal
Oh, yeah,
bot
what am I talking about?
to deny a good Blizzard. So maybe there was a good argument to be made for not playing it. But just don't top deck it, RDU.
It depends on how things will pan out here. Argent Horse Rider helps
Good
him fill out
enough.
the mana curve. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And this is the point where, like, if he
Uh-oh.
can get his opponent's health down, oh my goodness, I mean, if he can get his opponent's health down quick enough, because he's going to do 10 more damage here, assuming he doesn't kill the Thanos, then Ice Barrier doesn't really do much if you can just hero power down, and then you might not even have to be reliant on popping it. You can just use direct damage and burn.
I mean,
Yeah,
Blizzard
that's a good
here
point.
is really terrible. I mean, it works, in that it will stall. But how to wipe this board if you're...
Oh, that's pretty
a
big.
Wow, okay, that's massive.
Yeah, that's really huge.
I mean, you probably will heal for about 4. You can now
Right.
because you have 2 ice barriers, and you probably want to use that on turn 7 and 8.
Right.
So I guess you won't heal as much as you would like with the Alexstrasza, but at the same
Would
time
you Nova here? Would you go like Iceberry Nova, then go Blizzard Explosive Sheep to set up a good trade with the Sheep afterwards?
I mean, it's a shame that he didn't play the Emperor this turn. It would change a lot, in my opinion.
It would have at least forced a trade from the Lothab or from the the Shredder that was
I
there.
don't think so. It would
Yeah.
It would have at least forced a trade of some sort, just based on...
It would just change the turns with 2 mana Ice Barrier, 2 mana Frost
Right.
Nova, and
Yeah,
5
it
mana
does.
Blizzard.
It does,
This is
and
like-
especially Alexstrasza comes like because now he would have another turn with it. Alexstrasza would guarantee come the next turn.
God.
2 high mains is a lot of pressure, and the big thing is that he already has 6 damage on board, so the ice barrier effectively cancels out. The only thing is that problematic is the explosive sheep. It might actually help a really easy board clear.
Which
Yeah.
is exactly what you're looking for. Like, the Explosive Sheep is not something you... I mean, sometimes you get a really good value from just playing it and pinging it, but very often late game, when you get it set up before Blizzard, when you know they're going to rush you down,
Yeah.
it's better.
But he does have some death rattle minions, so like it's very complicated because this sheep wants to kill off like
I mean,
every minion is sticky in some
Right.
capacity.
You'd have to attack the... if you wanted
Yeah.
to attack anything here, like, you might Blizzard and then attack the High Main. You would pop everything and leave Hyenas. But Hyenas are dangerous, with kill command possibilities.
Too bad for Ek0p that the sheep Death Rattle is triggered first.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Timing
true.
was played after that.
Right.
Because otherwise we would just Frost Nova Icelands the 7
Hyena
Hyena
and
attack
then kill
into
it.
that to clear the board effectively.
Well, he could
well-
Blizzard Icelands if he wants, and that
He
would
can
clear.
he can still use Frost Nova this turn. I think he can also maybe consider using Emperor and like after he trades, he can play Emperor and Icelands the High
Yeah.
Main.
You're only dead something like Iron Beak Owl with kill command, let's say, or
Yeah.
the High Main is unsilenced.
Okay.
I mean, it's silenced.
So Frost Nova here, but then
Ice Barrier again, I guess.
I don't like this at all. I mean, I would still prefer the Blizzard turn. So you can Blizzard first and...
Whoa! If he goes for this,
Well, this is ballsy or really bad. I don't know.
I mean, I didn't look at the order of death rattles, but I feel like there was a possibility for the Blizzard Icelands.
well,
Yeah, there was, there was.
Or
'Cause, I mean-
even Nova Icelands ping and then trade the sheep. I mean, you do leave the 2-drop from the Shredder and the 2-1, but
it does feel excessive that he Icelanced
the High Main.
because he still has like Blizzard and he could use that later on. Although now he's just gonna Blizzard again.
And is gonna stall. It's actually gonna do what he wants, I guess. He wanted to get the hyenas out
Right.
for the Blizzard. That's probably the line of thinking.
Oh, interesting. RDU
Good
holds on to the
card.
Leper Gnome. He wants to use it as like final damage, maybe to like play around flame strikes and whatnot.
Play around flames.
It plays like forces
Play
the
around
mage, not
any
the,
AoE. You're right. You're right.
Well, he's used both of his high mains. That's usually the highest curve for a hybrid hunter deck. And he does have the Argent Horse Rider to put on more pressure. Now he knows both ice barriers have been pulled out, which means it's pretty much ice blocks guaranteed. Outside of the very, very small possibility that it's duplicate in a freeze mage deck.
yeah, Nerea style.
Yeah, that's right. But Ek0p's not that. I mean, it's very rare for freeze mages to run that.
It's pretty cool. I just want to see after the advent of League of Explorers what freeze mage will become, because it looks like it could change quite a bit depending on where players want to take it.
Yeah, so Reno Jackson, at least on paper, would be amazing in the freeze mage mirror.
That's pretty solid.
Wait, what would you play Alexstrasza here?
So Alex,
Does-
I like
Always,
Emperor more
right?
than Alec. If I'm gonna play
Yeah.
Alex, I'm gonna Emperor first. But you would take 8 from those 2 guys and then another 2. So you have to dodge 1 extra damage in order to not get your ice block popped. And that's
on. Well, I mean, what about Leper Gnome popping?
yeah. Well, that's the thing. You would have to ping the 2-1 right now, right? Like the Horse Rider. And then you will be taking.
Yeah, you'd be taking 10.
Yeah, I mean, you can
but then
Alex
you're
afterwards.
taking 10 with the assumption that he doesn't draw more damage, like you said.
Right. Oh, he didn't draw it, so in this case, that was actually correct.
But the problem is, even if he Alexstrasza himself, he can't really do anything outside of that Alexstrasza turn, and there's still going to be
A lot of
14
force.
damage
Yeah.
coming on the other way.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a way out of
Heal
this.
bot
I mean,
top deck would be sick.
He already
he's
used
the
his
second
heal
highest
bot.
block, and Okay,
Oh,
that helps.
That was big.
Yeah, that's
That helps a
actually really
lot.
massive.
And then Emperor.
Works again. You get another.
I mean, Blizzard for 4 mana doesn't give you like Antonidas combo potential, but it's
Would you
still
trade
really
the high main
powerful.
first then? I mean, you would still freeze the high main. Maybe you pop the shredder, see what's inside. You could even ping. if
No, you
don't
got.
wanna
You have to
ice
go
lance.
aggressive. Like you have to ice lance and then use Alex shot to hit face. So you have 18 damage dealt.
You know what's funny? You
That might give you Pyroblast.
Sorry.
Pyroblast, sorry. Please continue further.
I was just saying, like, if he chooses to go for this, he still can Pyroblast for the win. So, yeah.
He's going for it. But he's offering trades.
Right. So, like, Hunter can now clear the board.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he can't.
He can't kill everything,
He's
though.
1 damage off from doing that.
Oh,
now he can.
Yeah,
Almost
there's no
certainly
way.
can.
There's no way he doesn't, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now before he can clear the board and pop with just hero power, which is really powerful. And ideally, he'd also be able to do this without using his Leper Gnome, so that way Blizzard is lethal too.
Right.
Yeah. I was seeing something was happening.
Wow.
Nice. Very,
That's a-
very good juggle there and outcome. Because now if he even deals with Leper Gnome for some weird reason, then he can also get more juggles.
Insane. Absolutely insane.
Well, the juggles for both players were just insane.
Yeah, that was really good.
That's
that was
right.
really good.
But now what are you
Pyroblast?
No, that's it.
GG. There's really no way out of this. That Leper Gnome. Oh, also the fact that he can't stop damage, but that's it. RDU 3-0 with Hunter.
The olden days, they're back.
It's the
Sort of.
90s.
What do we think
Again.
about that? Who's a pro player that
I
can
don't know if I
consult?
missed
Hey,
it.
I love the
hey,
hey.
just FYI.